Greetings, fellow YouTubers and nerd-person shooter subscribers. I am RoboDork, and welcome to my review of RoboCop Rogue City, Unfinished Business, Standalone Expansion. That's a mouthful. Before I begin, I'd like to take this time to rectify an error I made in my review for the main game nearly 2 years ago. I made a boo-boo that was pointed out to me by a fellow commenter. I had claimed that RoboCop Rogue City only took place after RoboCop 1, and that it ignored all the events of its lackluster sequels. I was wrong. I have only seen RoboCop 2 once, many years ago, and found it disappointing, so my memory failed me of its plot and relevance to Rogue City. These games do, in fact, take place between the events of RoboCops 2 and 3. I easily could have looked up the game's timeline before making the review. Talk about a robo-flop. Computers make mistakes too, you know. In Unfinished Business, you once again take control of RoboCop as he heads to OCP Tower to intercept a former fellow policeman turned rogue mercenary leader who claims to be a true answer of injustice, yet keeps murdering innocents and blames RoboCop for it. A classic case of narcissistic psychopathy. He also constantly quotes people who died thousands of years ago as a means of justifying his crimes in the present. He must be stopped. What sets this DLC apart from the main game are occurrences which involve you playing a few flashback levels, one of which you play as Alex Murphy on duty before he was killed and turned into RoboCop, as well as a couple other important characters whose stories further delve into the how and why of the unfinished business plot. It is a mostly well-constructed story. The issue is that some of the voice acting, dialogue, facial animations, and lip-syncing are just plain awful, with plenty of typos when you have the subtitles on too. There are times when it makes the decades-old Shenmue games look good, and some of the jokes are plain cringe. Just take a look at this.
I hated that fucking rat. I hate them all. They're filthy, disgusting. But I couldn't get rid of Bobby. That's all I have left of Betty. And now I have nothing.
Do I have permission to enter?
You'll be more suitable for whatever waits inside than I would, so be my guest.
Be my guest.
And we are not fucking asking.
Madam, are these rascals bothering you?
It's RoboCop. Let's go. She got our message anyway.
Yeah, right up my bum crack.
Tomorrow, red bitch. Baldish is waiting.
It's Miss Red Bitch to you.
Oh, no. She lives in the apartment upstairs. You see, OCP assigned us to 2 different apartments, even though we've been married for a half-century.
I am sorry to inform you, but your wife has passed.
She was always worried I would be the first to die. Now I don't need these youth pills. I can stay downstairs and wait for her to take me. Thank you, RoboCop.
Goodbye.
I'm ready, my dear. I can join you.
Seriously, who talks like this?
I got them. And now the clothes.
Do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do-do. Oh. I have made my bed. Now it's time to fold my clothes. Boy, that was a hard boss, huh? And now it's time to save.
Ow. That was a painful shit. It's like giving birth to a dead cow. It's over now. But I still have to wipe!
You are a chemist, right?
Yes, but I don't know anything about the cards. I primarily work with liquid nitrogen. How about that for an icebreaker? Get it?
Yes. Goodbye.
If only these nitpicks didn't pale in comparison to the worst problems this game suffers from. Rogue City was prone to glitches. Here, it's possibly even worse. Enemies that you throw fly through and out of the map. Bodies ragdoll erratically when shot at lightly. Enemies get stuck in doors, or just simply do not react with non-functional AI. There are times when RoboCop ironically acts more human in combat. Your move, derp. The worst glitch I encountered was bugged cutscenes, which happened twice, where certain background environments, proper camera placements, or even the characters themselves wouldn't spawn in. The first time happened within the first 10 minutes, and left a very sour first impression on me. And then this one, which happened around the halfway point. How can someone fuck up the cutscenes this much? There is a moment in the story where RoboCop is without his pistol in one mission, but immediately after overriding a computer monitor, he briefly whips his not-supposed-to-have pistol out. Whoops! It's like the Starbucks cup from Game of Thrones. There are also some spots where background noises like music on radio interfere with conversations you are engaged in. It is a good thing I enabled subtitles when I started playing.
When was the last time you saw him here?
Not sure. I'd have to check my calendar, but right now, I'm unable to do so.
Do you know where he could go with the diffuser?
I'd rather not know what stupid thing he's up to. Maybe he used the last of his brain cells and left a note somewhere in the workshop.
I can cut the cables if you tell me which ones.
I don't know this model. Maybe that moron left some notes on it.
Besides glitches, general design choices I found questionable came in the form of side missions. While many are quite good and still involve you investigating important matters among the residents in the OCP tower, some are laughably short or trivial, like helping someone use a vending machine, or opening a garage door. And then you have more menial tasks, like unjamming a washing machine by hitting it on the side and top in the right order. What BS is this? This is not why I would ever want to play as RoboCop, nor is it me investigating a baby diaper shortage and deciding whether or not I should penalize a guy in some smelling, fly-infested room for hoarding diapers. What kind of crap is this? No pun intended. Unfinished Business indulges a little too much in silly, crude humor. You know, pee-pee, caca, poo-poo. And as much as I still enjoy giving tickets to small fry lawbreakers, it isn't quite as impactful as when we did it on the streets of Detroit and Rogue City.
Fucking rats!
Better rats than bullets.
Ah, it depends on who's shooting.
Okay, Cruz, make sure your pants are clean and let's move on.
Have no fear, because the bulk of the expansion is still packed with very brutally satisfying gunfights and entertaining slow-motion ambushes when saving hostages. The gunplay is more of the same, and that is a good thing. It remains the saving grace, whether you choose to use RoboCop's primary pistol that you once again can upgrade over time, or if you want to use other weapons dropped by enemies, which is what I personally recommend to help spice up the combat even better. To keep things interesting and fresh, the game does a good enough job at introducing new weapons, like the Cryo Cannon, which delivers devastating ice bombs and can freeze anyone stiff, or just blow them to frozen, bloody chunks. But be careful, because you can end yourself with it too in close range. My personal favorite weapon is the combat shotgun. It shoots fast, does reliable damage, and has adequate range. We are also introduced to new opponents, like these flying drones, but also these ground drones, which roll up to you very fast before blowing up in your face. I personally hate these. They are a pain in my shiny metal ass. How can I also forget these samurai androids from the god-awful RoboCop 3? Yes, they make several appearances throughout the latter half of Unfinished Business. This is probably the best way the developer could ever honor the third film. At least they didn't give RoboCop a stupid jetpack. Oh shit! There's even a level where you get to hack into an Ed 209 robot and unleash havoc. Be careful not to try going down steps though. My only complaint about the combat is how drawn out certain gunfights can be due to the increased number of armored guards, like this one minigunner who took about a dozen shotgun shells to kill. But everything else feels great. I love the new environmental takedowns. They never get old. Here, you need to cool off. Let me help you get a drink. How would you like to be on TV? And my personal favorite, taking out the trash. However you wish to play RoboCop Unfinished Business, from using their weapons against them, throwing or shooting gas canisters, to witness scum being reduced to a red mist, and grabbing them by the throats and throwing them into each other. No playstyle should disappoint. I, for one, get my robotic kicks off of shooting guys in the scrotum. RoboCop Unfinished Business may not be quite as good as Rogue City, but it at least still retains most of what made it great. For a reasonable price of $29.99, you get an 8 to 10 hour long expansion that gives you more of what you loved, with some poor choices in writing, design, and technical faults sprinkled in there. I still recommend it, but only for big RoboCop fans who wanted more out of Rogue City. Of course, the music is also great, and even throws in the theme song during climactic shootouts. If Rogue City was an 8 out of 10, then my final score for Unfinished Business will have to be a 7 out of 10. It is a balls-to-the-walls first-person shooter, and a worthwhile half-sequel, even if it may not leave the same impression on you as the first game did. I hope this review was sufficient and informative enough for you to make a decision on whether you want it or not. And thank you for watching. I have to go now. I have duties as a keyboard warrior. I must teach those internet scum a lesson in manners. I also have no life.
Up next, Mafia the Old Country Review!